I am so excited today because we're going to be building something for this animal of mine, and it is actually a mini sliding barn door, dog door, in preparation to practice to make an actual larger size human sliding door. Breathing for you. Being a part of Home Depot's prospective program means they send me, honestly, some of the raddest tools, and today we're going to be checking out two new ones to my tool belt, which is this Milwaukee Generation 2 18 gauge brad nailer. This is where you're going to load in your nails for this project, and I will show you how I figure out sizing for nails later, especially for noobs like me. Growing up being my dad's assistant with all his carpentry endeavors since I was way little, every time he pulled out the nail gun, it always intimidated me because it had an air compressor that was super loud. Truth be told, when I first got into carpentry a couple of years ago and picked up some power tools, I thought that I would need a brad nailer with an air compressor. I found another cordless brad nailer whose name will not be mentioned because it definitely doesn't perform up to this Milwaukee one. You'll notice on the side that I'm about to play with up and down to show you how you can adjust the depth of the nail, but right underneath my hand are two other tips. They have 3 interchangeable tips for you to choose from for your projects. This seems like a weird segue, but I only have one Milwaukee battery and I have just the generic charger for it. So I was working on this while I was doing the AC unit cover, which means I was using one battery for 2 projects. And Home Depot sent this supercharger to check out, which charges up to 4 times faster. It can charge a battery within an hour. This supercharger is a separate purchase. It does charge all M18 and M12 batteries for full system compatibility. The brad nailer comes with its generic charger and a battery, so you don't have to go out and buy this one. But because I'm going to be using this for multiple projects, I thought it was a perfect time to implement it and really put it to the test. Something I definitely slept on when I first started using power tools was only having one charger and one battery, and investing in different chargers that can charge things faster, like this one that can charge the M18 high output HD battery in 1 hour, is going to only add to the productivity in your shop and with your projects. Battery is all charged up, so I just inserted that into the bottom of the Milwaukee brad nailer, double checked the battery charge on the back, and you have to turn this guy on, which I love, and you can switch in between modes as well. I'm going to be staying in single shot, but bump mode, you just hold down the trigger, and every time you put down the nail gun to the piece of wood, it fires a nail for you. Checking the depth of my project with the 2 pieces of wood I'm going to be connecting, that is how I determine what size nail I need. This is something I personally do, is I check the countersink prior to working on my actual projects. I want to make sure that the nail is going just a little bit below the surface of the wood. I don't need it too deep. That's what you see me doing here. I'm just making sure I'm adjusting that countersink toggle, which you saw me play with where I was talking about the interchangeable tips earlier. So I'm just adjusting as I'm shooting to make sure I know exactly what I want. We got that situated, so now it's time to move on to the project. I cut down a piece of plywood to be 1 inch bigger all around my actual dog door so it'd cover it, and then I found the middle of the board to start messing around with the design. You guys know that I do 1,000,001 projects, so actually all these pieces of wood I didn't have to cut. I had them on my wood storage already because I was always thinking one day I'll do something with this wood, and voila, it came in handy actually, so that's nice. I glued and used my brad nailer to secure these 2 little triangles in place in the center because I'm just going to kind of free flow the design around those 2 pieces. If it will make sense in 3 seconds. You always want to have some form of a rag to wipe off the excess glue. You do not want that to dry because when you go to lay down your other pieces, it's going to have a little wedge. You'll have to chisel it out. So just do yourself a favor. Have a rag on hand. I started laying out pieces of wood that were already cut at a 45 degree that were up on my wood storage and just kind of went to town and started to see what I liked, what I didn't. And that's what I love about this project, is because it's all up to your personal preference of design. I didn't commit to anything quite yet besides those 2 triangles in the middle, and once I ran out of pieces for my wood storage that were already cut down, I picked up this bundle of 1x2s at Home Depot for $5 to finish out the project. For the next good hour, I'm not even lying, I just spent cutting down the 1x2s at a 45 degree angle and just rearranging these pieces till my heart was actually content. I didn't want this to look uniform in any way. I wanted it to look very random, so there's just a lot of like texture and movement to this piece, and that sounds really lame of me to say, but that is the true inspiration behind the design that you're going to see in the finished product. I kept the design on the actual wood and then moved them one by one using my speed square to ensure that I was lining these up also at a 45-degree angle to the triangle, and went in with some wood glue and the Milwaukee brad nailer. Something that I truly noticed throughout the tedious process of putting all these pieces down and just using the brad nailer was how lightweight and compact this is, and then the fact that there's literally no ramp up time. So you don't have to like sit and wait for it to be like ready. The other brad nailer that I said, whose name will not be mentioned, it was so inconsistent when working with soft wood and hardwood, but mainly I work with a lot of softwood. This Milwaukee one delivers consistent, clean nail holes in hard and, well, I can't say hard because I don't know. I haven't really used hardwood with this yet, but in softwood all day, this thing delivers consistent and clean nail holes. Just a tip for you guys, because again, it's all about learning with me. As a new carpenter, when I am checking out a tool or I receive a new tool, the one thing that has been tried and true for me to walk me through it in the most simple way is to go to that product page and look at the real reviews from real humans. Quite frankly, there is nothing more honest than an online review. And as you can see, this thing's been rated 5.0, top at the top every single time, from real life humans that aren't sponsored to say this or anything. Like, they're just giving you their real feedback. Finishing up the design and stepping back, it looks super crazy, but you're just gonna go ahead, flip your piece upside down, use your circular saw to trim off all the excess. I sanded this down with a 120 grit sandpaper attached to my orbital sander, and then used a tack cloth to remove all the dust and debris. I decided to paint this white purely based off inspiration for one of my like ultimate just queens of working with wood, Alexandra Z. If you don't know who she is, I've linked her Instagram down below, but that's what this whole little mini project was inspired by, was just her taste and her vibe. I sanded this down thinking I should bring more natural tones out, but because our living room is jam-packed with a bunch of browns and wood, I decided to add the neutral on the outside, doing a little DIY framing moment, which I have a video on, which I'll card for you here, and painted the thing white again so there wasn't any natural wood coming through, only the frame was the natural part. I wiped on some natural Danish oil to the frame just to protect it, and I moved on to adding a quote to it in black to tie in the black that is living throughout my living room. Again, everything is linked down below for you. These are wooden letters that I actually have used in my DIY laundry room decor video. It's basically where I got the inspiration for this. I used my speed square to make sure it's going straight across, eyeballed, spacing out these letters, painted on some wood glue to the back to adhere it to the surface. Busted out my scroll saw real quick and decided to just print out this calligraphy beast, because that's what I call Callie. I call her Beastly, but I thought that would look a little weird on this door, but Unleash the Beast was just like the perfect saying for this animal in this family. After I added Beast, that's when I stepped back and was like, girl, you can now make a ton of different wall decor options as presents heading into Christmas time, because this is so cute. Anyways, I moved on to adding the barn door hardware, which I have linked down below for you. This is a 48-inch long hardware that I'm using. I'm not sure if there's a ton of different other sizes, but it's mainly used for like a sliding door on cabinets or a TV console or, you know, whatever. But this for me was practice to just see how in general this works and how to install it before I beef up to the human-sized sliding barn door. I didn't take into consideration that you can't necessarily frame something and then try to put barn door hardware on it because it has to be flush, so that's why I added those little plywood pieces to make it level to the frame. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have been in such a creative funk, and this just got me so excited when I stepped back, and when I started to install it, I was like, Rachel, this is exactly what we needed. Okay, so this is our dog door situation currently. When we have it up during the day, it literally stays like that, so it's caused all these scuff marks on the trim. Also, that little white thing you see is a security sensor, which I'm going to have the company come back out and install properly on the new door that I put, but I also added a little toggle bolt lock on the, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, first thing to do is use a magic eraser because it's going to be your best friend in situations like this, as you can clearly see. I cleaned everything up as best as I could, and then I whipped out my laser level. This is where I eyeballed where I was going to be installing this strip of plywood because I didn't have any studs in my wall. I also needed it to be spaced out a little bit so it can go over the dog door, the actual dog door itself, where she goes in and out nice and smooth. And that, my friends, is how you DIY a mini sliding barn door, dog door. Oh my God, it is just the absolute cutest. Now looking at it though, I should move it down just a little bit. Oy vey. I have like 3 minutes of Callie full-blown interrupting me while I was trying to take these final shots. This isn't interrupting me. You're going to see that in a second. But all in all, I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, learning something new with 2 new tools that I am adding to my tool belt. I've linked absolutely everything down below if you want to check out the Milwaukee Generation 2 or the Supercharger. But now, for your, Callie entertainment, this is what I have to deal with when I'm shooting. Callie, every time I go to film this, you literally are getting in my way, but you are too cute. Ow! You can literally get it. Oh my. Really, can I just finish it? Can I just finish your door? Oh my, ow, I swear. Ah! Don't bite me right there. Ah! There we go. Good girl. Yo! Even when she is a sass and a half, she is still the absolute cutest thing. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. This honestly has given me so much creative inspiration. I've really been running on empty lately, which I think maybe you can't tell by my channel because I've been pumping out content, but this is the first time I feel like creative and unique again, and I hope that showed through with this project to you guys. I have so much in the works. I am just rejuvenated, and I will catch you next Wednesday for another DIY.